Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is a topic I've been wanting to cover on my channel for years and years, but I've been nervous because I know it's going to hit a nerve with some people. I'm okay with that. I am just here to share what I have learned. I am not the toxic police, but I am just trying to make healthier choices for my household, more so for the sake of my kids. And I know I hear some of you out there already saying like everything causes cancer. You're just trying to scare us. I felt that way for a long time myself. It's just so overwhelming. But then I started experiencing some of my own health issues. I had fertility issues. And when I started doing the research, I learned that some things I was putting on and in my body could be contributing to those issues. And in addition to that, my younger brother has now had cancer twice. When it starts to affect you personally, that's when you really start to care and start to dig into it. So I'm just going to share with you what I've learned. And the big ones that I'm going to be talking about today fall into these major categories. So we have our BPA and phthalate. These are chemicals that can lead to hormonal and developmental problems, particularly concerning when you have young developing children. Then we have our toxic forever chemicals. They're called PFAs. But these can lead to hormone disruption, liver and thyroid problems, abnormal fetal development, and many different types of cancers. Then we have our VOCs, volatile organic compounds. These are neurotoxins. They can affect your brain and your respiratory system. Then we have our carcinogens. You may have heard that term. That basically means cancer causing, and there are different levels of carcinogens. And there are things that we are eating and feeding to our children that are class A, level 1 carcinogen. I would argue there is really nothing in this life, in this world, that is more important than your health. Because if you don't have your health, I mean, you really don't have much else. So with all that said, let's get into it with our first umbrella category of toxins to be aware of that I strongly recommend making swap in your home. That is heated plastics. And that is because when you heat plastic, the more transfer of those chemicals from the plastic go into your food that you are then ingesting. This is called chemical leaching, and it is dramatically more when that plastic is heated. So think anything you're putting in the microwave, you're heating on the stove top, even plastic water bottles you might not think about, but those tend to get heated in transport. You may have been sitting out in the hot sun and those chemicals are leaching in. So my number one pick, my number one swap, if you change nothing else, if you learn nothing else from this video, I would say to swap out your children's plastic plates, drinking cups, anything plastic that your kids' food or drinks are going into. The vast majority of kids' dinnerware is plastic. It's more durable, but it is not worth it because you're putting their food in here, reheating the food, giving it to them, and that chemical leaching is just not worth giving to your kids, in my opinion. Now, I do want to say, because I did a little deep dive into silicone, because food grade silicone is significantly better than plastic. So choose the silicone. Silicone is made with a non-toxic polymer that is coming from silica, which is sand. It can withstand heating and freezing without chemical leaching. This also goes for your cups, your household cups, but in particular, your kids' cups. So these are the ones I just switched to have around the house. It is glass with the silicone sleeve. The other thing with your kids' water bottles, stainless steel is much better than the plastic containers. Because something else that needs to be said about like water bottles, a lot of plastics these days say that they're BPA free. But what a lot of companies do, they don't use BPA, but they instead use a chemical that is almost exactly similar, but not technically BPA. And not just for your kids, for yourself, for your household. Very, very strongly recommend you make the switch over from your plastic food storage containers to the glass. And this day and age, there's really no excuse because the price on these has come down dramatically. It's almost the same price and is vastly safer for you. Another thing that I do now, because I'm very aware of reheating anything in plastic, is if you are making any frozen food, frozen meals, I transfer it into a glass container and reheat it in glass. Now, another kind of newer concern regarding heated plastic, something that might not even be on your radar, and it was not on mine, artificial turf. So it's becoming more popular to get fake grass, but they are made with so many dangerous chemicals. Hot summer month, that plastic gets heated and you, your kids, your family are rolling around, skin contact. If you do not have fake grass, I would not recommend that you get it. If you do have fake grass, to minimize their skin contact, have them shower afterwards and avoid it on hot days. And the last here in our heated umbrella is non-stick cookware, because again, you're heating those chemicals, and these have the forever chemicals, the PFAs. And you may have heard of the whole Teflon scandal. The bottom line here is look for PFA, PTFE, and PFOA free if you want to go with non-stick. The one that I prefer using is ceramic, the Le Creuset, the Dutch ovens. Those are great. Stainless steel, I did invest in all-clad stainless steel. They're a little finicky to work with. There's a learning curve. Glass and cast iron pans are a much better bet. But if nothing else, just please avoid the cheap non-stick pans. Now let's talk about the one that I think might offend the most of you out there, and you might not want to hear, but your cleaning product, your Clorox, your 409, your chemical cleaning products. Okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they contain VOCs, volatile organic compounds. You are then breathing those in. You ever cleaning with Windex or 409 and then you get this like weird chemical headache? Yeah, that's VOCs. The simplest thing I can tell you to do here, there's a website, the EWG, and they will tell you the hazard level of any common cleaning product. So for example, 409 has a F. You can make your own DIY cleaning solutions that are incredibly cheap. I'll put some recipes down below. I have been using the Blue Land. These do not contain any VOCs. Another good one that I just found a great alternative for. They now have pet odor eliminators and a similar product to Febreze, but it is completely clean, toxin-free, pet safe. I looked into it extensively, so I switched over to those. They smell amazing and they're not toxic. So next is personal care products, but the big ones to pay attention to are things that you're putting onto a large portion of your skin or inside your body. So number one being feminine care products, you guys. It blows my mind, but a lot of traditional tampons have, I'll put here on the screen, everything that's in there, but so many of these endocrine disruptors, like hormone disruptors that you are inserting into your body and can affect your fertility. So that is the number one thing. If you're going to use tampons, use organic. It really matters. Or organic pads. If you're using period underwear, make sure those don't have the PFAs, or use a menstrual cup. The next big one is body lotion and self-tanner. This is the brand I use, Beauty by Earth. They give a great tan. I absolutely love them. They have lots of different formulas, options now, and these get an A rating. Another big one, things you eat, things you ingest. This could be a whole video. I just want to say the top two things, your water, you guys, especially your drinking water. There's a website you can go into, put in your zip code, and it will tell you the level of contaminants that are in your local water supply. It is so worth the investment to get a good home water filtration system. We have the under the sink triple osmosis one, and there's 160 unregulated contaminants in US tap waters. And for food, biggest thing to avoid, if nothing else, are the class 1 carcinogens. Processed meat, especially for your kids. That includes bacon, ham, hot dogs, chorizo, any type of processed meat. These are a class 1 carcinogen. There's a link to childhood leukemia, and that is just something like it is not worth the risk in my opinion. Next thing, because I did kind of talk about toxins in personal care products in a video a few weeks ago, I was talking about toothpaste, and a lot of you pointed out fluoride, to look more into fluoride. I was like, ugh, fluoride, like again, everything, and this is another thing I have to worry about. So I did. I looked into it extensively, and there's really good news. There is a new ingredient. It is called hydroxyapatite that is shown in studies to be equally as effective as fluoride, but there are no reported downsides. It is not toxic whatsoever. So even if you don't care for yourself and you're gonna stay with your fluoride, I would recommend switching to a hydroxyapatite kids toothpaste, because kids swallowing more of it. And really where the bigger danger is when you are swallowing the fluoride. So for your kids, my kids love this one. It's called Boca Kids Orange Cream Toothpaste. It is worth making the switch. Again, there is no downsides. It is just as effective as fluoride at protecting their teeth. Also, I mentioned in that video, the Glide Floss is shown to have the forever chemical. I had recommended Cocoa Floss, and that's a little bit expensive And I actually found this floss called David's, and it's made with nano hydroxyapatite, and it costs less than the cocoa floss. Last two things that are big ones to be aware of: fabrics that are treated with flame retardants and or stain repellents. That basically is PFAs, those really bad toxic forever chemicals put right on your fabric, furniture, mattress that you are rubbing your body on. And this last one is not one of the bigger ones, but it blew my mind: paper towels. I did not know that paper towels have formaldehyde, chlorine, and BPA. So I did just learn that and wanted to share it because it is relevant for this video. If you have not yet switched from paper towels to the Swedish dishcloths, you guys, they're 10 times better. They're compostable, they are non-toxic. And my favorite usage is to dust and clean countertops, mirrors. So these are the big ones. I hope you found this useful. I will cite my sources down below because for me, it's not just the information, it's like, what are your sources and how credible are those sources? Again, do your own research. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I just would rather be safe than sorry. That is what it comes down to. So this is a video that is coming from my heart because it is a topic that I feel strongly about, and I am personally in my life trying to make healthier swaps and changes where I can. So with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a new video.